Hey folks, how's it going? It's me, Nabwalia, and welcome to another episode of Core Life Chit Chat. It's another Thursday, and it's another new episode of your favorite show. And today, the episode is slightly different. But before I hop into that, I want to give a little bit of a context. You see, originally, I planned on having and creating a fun, upbeat, a bit chaotic episode. But I was unable to get my guest on in time, and that completely fell through. So, sadly, no guest on today's episode. But I do have an idea, something I want to talk about. If you didn't stream episode 12, first of all, before I even get into that, you should really check out episode 12. I answered a lot of you guys' questions, me and my friend Terry. We gave advice, we went through people's dilemmas, and it was really fun. And a lot of you have liked that episode, and it's gotten great reviews. And it was a nice change of pace from talking about serious topics as I did in episode 10 and 11. At the end of episode 12, or somewhere in the middle, I think, I talk about how I used to deal with health anxiety and to an extent, a major extent, have overcome that. So today, I said, okay, why don't I make an episode on health anxiety? A lot of you have been loving and enjoying me talking about serious topics. So, for those that love when I talk about serious topics, this one's for you. And the topic is health anxiety. So let me give you a little bit of backstory, okay? A couple of years ago, in 2019, my grandfather passed away from a serious illness. And since his death, for some reason, my brain decided to get a little wonky, and it started acting up like a 7-year-old who's high on MDMA. And it started going a little crazy, and basically what that transpired into is me having health anxiety for no reason, but about something particular. Skin cancer, to be exact. I don't know for why or what reason, but anything would go wrong. Every day I'd wake up with anxiety and start thinking, oh my god, what if I have skin cancer? What if I have skin cancer? And I would check all my moles, and it got to the point where I used to stare at my skin for legit, like, hours and hours on end. Like, I used to be panicked about it. Before that incident, I almost never really had anxiety. I only had like test anxiety occasionally, which subsided 10 minutes into the test. So nothing I could never handle, but this was a complete different beast. So if you're like younger me who didn't understand anxiety, it's kind of like having an annoying girlfriend that you can't get rid of and you can't break up with. The moment you break up with them, it's like, okay, great, like they're kind of gone for 2 days, you don't hear from them, and one day you go into your house and your crazy girlfriend is in your bed sitting, eyes wide open. That's kind of what anxiety is like. And I was dealing with it a lot, and it led me to kind of become too chaotic to a point where, for no apparent reasons, I had to get multiple moles removed. Just because of my anxiety made me think that this is something super serious, and it never was. And over the years, I had to combat that. I was in a very chaotic headspace with my health anxiety, and later on in like 2021, sorry, and 2022, it kind of developed into me thinking I have ALS. For those who don't know, ALS is a neurodegenerative disease. It pretty much means you're going to have and attend a wonderful meet and greet with the gods, probably ideally in under a year. And I didn't want to have and attend the meet and greet with the gods. So that was really chaotic. And I would check my body every day for skin cancer. I'd be worried. I would spend hours and hours at night checking what it is. And I would talk to my friends about it. But none of them could at least understand what it was. And obviously they would try to help me, and I couldn't figure it out. It got to a point where I Google symptoms, and the best advice I kept coming up with from Google is that I need to stop Googling. And every single day, I would wake up with health anxiety and thinking I have some new rare tropical disease called like pineappleitis. P.S. If you didn't know what pineappleitis is, it's when you eat a lot of pineapple that you begin to look like a pineapple, which is weird for me because I eat a lot of pineapple, yet I still look like a fat watermelon. So I was dealing with that, and it really took a lot of energy out of me. And me and my friend, we used to have the saying, and I still believe in it greatly, which is knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss. And I hated the fact that as a pre-med kid, I knew so much about illnesses, diseases, and so on and so forth. So every day I would wake up, after my skin cancer thing. Not that I ever had skin cancer, but every day I would wake up thinking like if my jaw hurts, I'd be like, oh my God, like is this a sign of a potential like stroke? Or if I didn't sleep enough, I would wake up with anxiety thinking like, oh my God, like my feet feel weird or my arm is tingling. Not because I slept in a weird position, like a fucking child. I would be like, oh my God, like this is neuropathy. My nerves are dying. And it took a lot of energy out of me and it sucked. It sucked a lot. And I couldn't even be present in the moment. But I decided to switch it upon itself, and I realized the world is too big. The great thing about world being too big is there's a lot of wisdom and knowledge out there. So I started to understand what my illness was, and I started to understand how anxiety works. I read books upon books from various authors, psychologists, and it truly has helped me drastically. And I'm at a point now where I am basically I've treated my health anxiety completely. I don't have it. Occasionally, don't get me wrong, it does act up a little bit, but the levels we're talking were earlier. If I ever had a health anxiety, on a scale 1 to 10, I'll be at like a 9, 9.5, almost on the borderline of having a panic attack. Now, the maximum it ever triggers me is maybe a level of 2, if that, and that is only if I let it happen. Obviously, I can like feel that I'm in the loop of having a health anxiety, but the anxiety part, the nervousness, the heaviness in your chest, the rushing mind and thoughts, those don't happen anymore. I've completely treated that. And I want to talk about that, and I want to shed a little bit of light on this. A lot of people do suffer with anxiety, not particularly health anxiety, but anxiety in general, and sucks. It sucks dealing with it. A lot of people don't understand it. So what I want to do is I want to just help and share what has helped me in hope that it helps you. For my anxiety, I learned and understood the fact that the first thought you have with anxiety, whatever it is, what triggers it, you cannot necessarily control that. That is out of your hands. Your trigger points are outside of your hands. But the second thought, the thing or how you react to it, that you can control. Something that helped me with my health anxiety is always creating a comedic effect of it. So let's say if I was having anxiety looking at a mall, I'm like, oh my God, it looks fucking off, it looks weird. I would tell myself, I'm like, oh my God. And in my mind, I would create a comedic aspect of it. I would tell myself, oh my God, like this mall looks so weird. What if I wake up next day and it's an alien? And it's like we're besties, like Peter Griffin and his conjoined twin from Family Guy. Shout out Family Guy, by the way. And slowly over time, that helped treat my anxiety. Another thing that helped me is diving it completely deep into it. As I said on episode 12 to one of you guys' question, the question was, how do you deal with a breakup? And I said that you need to delve completely deep into your emotion. Let it surround you, let it overtake you. That's the best way through. And for my health anxiety, that was the same thing. I dove so deep into it that I let it all overcome me. When I had anxiety, I didn't fight it. I just let it be. And I didn't try to understand it. I didn't try to do anything. I just let it be. And the next thing I know, slowly and surely, over time, it didn't affect me that much, because when I was having health anxiety, I really thought my life's over. This is some serious illness. It's over. I'm going to die. It's over. But you get to the point and you understand that after your anxiety passes, you're like, well, I'm still breathing. I'm still alive. I still feel great. I still felt great earlier. So that wasn't the end of it all. And slowly and surely, it didn't pull me that much. There were a lot of books that did help me with that as well. So today I just want to share 3 books with you. I hope it helps you with your anxiety. The first one that truly helped me a lot, and I read it every single year, it's called The Power of Positive Mindset by Vincent Peale. I recommend to everybody. It's a little bit God heavy. If you're religious, you believe in God, it'd speak to you. If not, then it might not be up your alley, but you should still give it a try. The author shares a lot of useful tips that did help be in a constant state of positivity, keep my mind afloat, keep my thoughts afloat. The second book I recommend to everybody who's dealing with anxiety is Help and Hope for your nerves. It helped me understand how anxiety is, helped me understand they were just my adrenaline neurons that were just spiking too fast, too quickly, and how I combat it, and how I treat it, how I talk about it so I'm better understood in society so I don't isolate myself. And the last book that truly was like creme de la creme, it was called The Badass Ways of Ending Anxiety and Stopping Panic Attacks. It's a very on the nose title, but it was great. It's written by an author who had severe health anxiety and how he's treated it, and talk about using humor with your thoughts, creating state of mind and making your health anxiety to yourself seem comedic, creating a bound of positive ideas and even comedic ideas about how your anxiety is and letting it be. And that's what I want to leave you with. This is, like I said, like a short and simple episode. I just want to talk about it a little bit. Anxiety has been a struggle, to an extent for me, a small extent. Like thinking back from times where I used to wake up with anxiety, I used to have crippling thoughts. I used to stare at my skin for like literally 2-3 hours, end on end. Now I'm at a point where I look at my friends and I talk to them and I'm like, I wish I could have or experience health anxiety to the same level. But I can't. And not in a way I'm boasting or arrogant about it, in the sense that I am appreciative of my journey. So if I could leave you with anything, and you suffer from anxiety, all I want to leave you with is, yes, it sucks. At times you can't think your way through it. At times you can't understand it. But the best way I can explain it is let it be. Don't fight it. Understand. Accept. Let it overcome. You will get over it. You will get past it. And more importantly, use humor as a way to exaggerate your anxiety in your mind. I imagined when I used to have anxiety, and this helped me, is Donald Duck, like Mickey Mouse's side chick. Donald Duck, imagine Donald Duck talking about the anxious thoughts you're having, and all of a sudden it just began to sound really fucking stupid to me. And I was like, this is what I'm scared of? So that has helped me. And understand your anxiety, understand what triggers it, and learn. There's so much knowledge out there. Learn about your anxiety, learn about how to treat it, learn about how it works, and take that power away from your anxiety, from your thoughts, and bring it back to yourself, and you can have, to an extent, control over it. Obviously, there's somebody in my life where their anxiety isn't psychological thoughts, it's caused by a physiological issue. Obviously, that completely different. That is, to an extent, a lot out of your hands. But in terms of coping with it, in terms of dealing with it, accepting it, controlling it, I truly hope, and I am sure that every single one of you can get past it, can move on, and you can choose and begin to drastically reduce your anxiety as I have. Thank you very much for listening to another episode of Core Life Chit Chat. I'll be back next week with the chaotic episode as originally planned. It'll be upbeat, it'll be wild stories, I promise. And do me a favor, leave a comment on this episode. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you enjoyed these serious topics, as most of my friends do at this point. Do check out episode 12 if you haven't yet. I'll see you later, yeah? Hasta la vista. Bye-bye.